His Excellency Leon Williams, Bahamas Ambassador to the ITU, calls on fellow ITU Council members to stop micromanaging the ITU and allow the organization to proceed with its mandate to connect the remaining 2.9 billion unconnected persons globally.
Thank you. Bahamas, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Councillors. On Monday of last week, the Secretary General invited Councillors to a retreat. At that retreat, the Secretary General asked 4 provocative questions. 1, how would you describe the ITU of 2030? 2, what is the difference from 10 years ago? And 3, what changes have been made? How do we address, number 4, the emerging technologies? We were challenged by Professor Klaus Schwab and Pamela Koch-Hamilton to reimagine the ITU. We all agree that in order for the ITU to be fit for purpose for the future, transformation has to take place. A new building is required, and further, we have to be bold and even review the present federal organizational structure of the Union. The Secretary General has provided us with the tools she needs to achieve the transformation, and we all agree that those are needed. And we have spent hours in trying to apply our backseat driving to amend what the experts have proposed. Council has been discussing the building project that we all so identified as needed, but this project has straddled the terms of 3 Secretary Generals. We have been kicking the proverbial can down the road for over 9 years. The cost of the building has escalated multiple times due to inflation, deflation, scope creep, and one knows what else. It would seem to me that we started the building project in the era of 3G. We have transitioned to 4G, LTE, 5G, and we are now alpha and beta testing 5.5G and 6G. But we are no further along with the building project. From my prism, Chairman, it would seem that we are progressing at the speed of molasses running uphill. As a former CEO, I feel the pain of the senior management. From what I hear, some councillors are confused on what is the concept of one ITU. It boggles my mind, Chairman, trying to rationalize how with a federal structure which supports silos, how does the SG build horizontals and achieve one ITU? Chairman, if we are to connect the remaining 2.9 billion unconnected, achieve the SDGs in our lifetime, transformation of the Union is not optional, and operating as an effective single entity is a critical aspect of the future ITU. Continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is madness. I know I'm relatively new here, but perhaps, as I've heard our external auditor say 2 days ago, sometimes a fresh set of eyes is needed. So please forgive me when I ask us here today to move quickly to do what is needed to get the job done. I beg you, councillors, let us then, 1, support the SG's request for a new transformation office, 2, support the immediate establishment of the Oversight Office as proposed, and 3, stop micromanaging the ITU. As Council, we must remember that we are not here in ITU day to day as the officials and the management are. We should give our SG the tools she clearly demonstrated that she needs to do the job, and then we must hold her accountable for the outcomes. Thank you, Chairman.
the Bahamas received tremendous support from fellow ITU Council members.
Thank you for that statement, which I think provides us with another perspective.
We want to clearly say that Nigeria doesn't have any difficulty in accepting what has just been presented.
We would like to thank the Bahamas for the wonderful presentation that they gave, the statement regarding the situation we find ourselves in.
I also want to thank my colleague from Bahamas for a very well said statement.
I think I needed the intervention of His Excellency from Bahamas to also find the courage to also share this intervention.
We have enough reasons to move ahead. I'm not so eloquent as my distinguished colleague from Bahamas, but I like to support his words.
Just taking into account the comments from my colleagues from Bahamas and Philippines this morning, we acknowledge the immense importance of a transformation program for ITU's future and let ITU staff carry out this work.
I like to especially mention Bahamas, Philippines, Brazil, Australia.
I'd also like to align myself with the statement made by the distinguished delegate of Bahamas who spoke for all of us, because it really expresses the vision of many countries in my region.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, let me applaud our colleagues, the councillors from the Bahamas and the Philippines, for their very frank, very open-minded and very brave interventions earlier this morning. And bravery is what is needed in critical times, as this is, for the ITU, I would even say a desperate one.
Thank you. Thailand, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I would like to echo my colleague from Bahamas again. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to echo you again because you said it so well, and I have to keep echoing you throughout the day. Possibly tonight I will dream about you. I don't know, but you know.